All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. David Lee Roth has decided to release a song, and it's a really good song. This is an album he did about 6 years ago with guitarist John Five and Gregg Bisonnette, who's playing drums. I mean, this is some really good stuff. And I wasn't prepared to like it as much as I do, so let's go over this. David Lee Roth has shared a new song. It's called Somewhere Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill. And, you know, when you listen to the lyrics and kind of the whole tenor of the song itself, you're thinking this is almost a tribute to Ed, even though I'm sure it wasn't written with that in mind. It was a nostalgic song talking about the old days with Van Halen and so forth. And, you know, I like it. I really like it. John Five is a versatile guitarist. He's been on Steve Perry's album. He used to be hanging out with Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie. So you could see there's a diversity of styles. But don't let that, you know, dissuade you. This guy is a really good player. John Five got his first big break playing on Dave's solo album, The DLR Band, which wasn't a very well-received record, but it certainly gets you noticed. Then, of course, we talked about Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie. His latest sessions with the iconic Van Halen frontman apparently took place at least 6 years ago, with John Five unveiling a snippet of the album during an interview with Masters of Shred back in May of 2019. Last year, Roth was asked by Meltdown, I guess that's a person who works for Detroit radio station WIRF, if his LP with John Five will be made available at some point. He responded, "It will." There's been a revision of things. Now, this is an interesting paragraph. There's been a revision of things, and I can start making real plans and start marching into the future. At that point, and this was what, last year on the radio station? Last year, it says. So Roth kind of knew the whole thing was going south. And again, it's not because we needed to know. That's not it. I'm just observing what he's saying here. Obviously, if you read into it thinking that Ed is okay and he just doesn't want to perform and so forth, and that's pretty much what the rock media was going with, because we weren't all convinced that the TMZ report was spot on, or some of the things we heard were as bad as they turned out to be. So at that point, we're thinking, well, Van Halen's not going to get back together again, and that's too bad. Dave is saying he's Van Halen de facto, which I really didn't like. I don't think Wolfie liked all that stuff either. But I understand. I mean, he's the voice of Van Halen up until 1984, and you got to remember, there are a few fans out there who still don't forgive Dave for leaving Van Halen at their absolute peak. Because obviously, Ed was one of those people who was just devastated by that. Roth was supposed to have a movie career, you know, movies, books, you know, TV show guest appearances and so forth. I mean, it was Dave TV, and everybody remembers that. I mean, he was the king of media for a little while, and then that fell through, and then he embarked on a solo career, and they tried to go tit for tat, basically. You know, OU812 is a response to Dave's album Eat 'Em and Smile. I mean, that's how much of a rivalry there was still going on there. But anyway, he says, you'll start hearing that material, this material that we wrote variously for me solo and for Van Halen, and it's quite a bank of stuff. So this first track is this sunny acoustic rock song, and Dave sounds great on this. I wasn't prepared for Dave to sound great. He sounds fantastic on this track. And again, keeping it within the lines. I think everybody knew where Dave could go vocally. But he is way better in the studio than he is as a live performer. And all I ask, like I say, like a coloring book, just Dave, try to stay within the lines, buddy. Just kind of, sing within the boundaries. And the performances he did in Vegas were just like, I was just shaking my head. People were sending me links, and they're like, wait till you hear this. And I was like, really, it's that bad? And it was worse than what I had anticipated. But this song is really a nice song, and almost like a tribute to Ed. The groove, the vibe in the song. Again, they talk about his Vegas residency, and he's going to be the king of Vegas next year, supposedly. So John 5 really liked this record when they recorded it. I would just go to his house, I'd write these songs with him, and he would say, let's go into the studio. So we would go to Henson's studio and record these songs. They came out, they're so good. And he said it again, they're so good, and we've got Gregg Bisonnette playing drums on it, and I played the bass, and they're just really great songs. And, he describes it like, could this be magic? It's almost as if Van Halen went West Coast. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a West Coast Van Halen, and you're saying, Dave, they're already on the West Coast. I mean, the style of music. Almost like Toto or Fleetwood Mac got a hold of the Van Halen sound and just changed it up. The tune Somewhere Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill, it's really good. I would definitely recommend listening to this track because you won't be disappointed. So, in any event, Dave makes a comeback, and maybe a belated comeback, musically speaking, but it's a great track. Whether you are up for some David Lee Roth at this point, or if you're just too distraught and think Dave should go away for a while, I don't know. I guess music is a healer, so I will say I will side with the music, but I would proceed with caution if I'm David Lee Roth and just try to say the right things. Don't do any more interviews, or don't air any more interviews from before Ed's passing. I think that was a kind of a low point, but if the future is you, as you say, then we have to just hold on to what we've got. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and Patreon. Don't forget, just $1 a month, and we can have conversations about Dave, about Ed, about John 5, Steve Perry, your local weather forecast, whatever it is you want to talk about. I'm over there to chat. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.